Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Long ago, when I was a kid and dirt was new, Australians were absolute badasses. Sadly, that's no longer the case. Creeping cultural incrementalism gradually sapped that frontier spirit. They lost that deep vein of cantankerousness and rebellion which made them almost a weird upside-down version of us.
We're men in tights. We roam around the forest looking for lights.
Remains is stunted, weak, and worthy of your pity. And if you don't believe me, I'd like to direct your attention to this little bit of breathless hand-wringing out of Townsville in Queensland, Australia. Yes, that is a real place, not the next brain slop kids special from Netflix. And yeah, I'm also aware of the irony of a place named after a monarch having a bit of a freedom deficit. Who could possibly have predicted that?
Congratulations, Nostradamus.
Queensland police found 2 knives and a gel blaster on some poor dude they randomly wanted. You heard that right. Cops in Australia are allowed to just run metal detecting wands over random people without justification, a warrant, or even individualized suspicion. In case you were wondering, gel blasters are basically an even softer version of airsoft where it fires those little hydro beads that everyone's girlfriend was trying to hustle back in the early 2000s in direct marketing schemes. And if Aussie cops find a knife on you, they'll happily throw you in the struggle cuddle cage, all while claiming it's for your own good. Townsville District Officer Chief Superintendent Graham Payne said, not too subtly, "Anyone carrying a knife in a public place, it is not just dangerous for members of the public, it is dangerous for the person carrying it." Which is, of course, a thinly veiled threat referencing an incident when they recently shot an unarmed man because they thought he might have a knife. Why am I reporting on gun rights abuses in Australia? Well, for one thing, gun rights are human rights. Can I get an amen? For another, I've been seeing a lot of doomer comments lately despite a long train of victories in court and even some legislative wins. So I just wanted to remind you where we would be without the Second Amendment and hardworking activists like the FPC, the SAF, GOA, and all of the others.
You gotta fight for your right!
But hey, it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by EOTech.
The Voodoo 3 to 9 by 32 scope. This second focal plane scope is only 6.8 inches long and is fog, water, and shock resistant. Compact, lightweight, and ideal for short to mid-range shooting. To minimize the overall length, a machine interface will adapt to the included EOTech mount or any aftermarket mini ACOG mounts. The Voodoo 3 to 9 by 32 scope is loaded with innovation, precision, and functionality to make that critical shot.
Hey, y'all remember that time Francis Beto O'Rourke decided he was tired of running for president, so he said this on live television?
Hell yes, we're gonna take your AR-15.
Actually, we're all tickled to hear you say that.
Send bachelors and come heavily armed.
Well, apparently Francis is still afraid of being president because he just doubled down on that golden oldie.
Do you regret saying that as you were running for president?
No.
This sort of stupidity might pay off in a more authoritarian state, but Francis represents Texas. So it's not like this is some shrewd strategic maneuver. Now, to be fair, a lot of folks think Francis is earnest, if a little misguided, and he's just trying to do what he thinks is right. But that would mean he thinks it is right to disarm minorities and give Donald Trump a monopoly on violence. I'm not sure that really checks out either. What do you folks think? Why does Francis say such profoundly stupid things?
Well, you know, some folks got to learn the hard way.
You've heard me rail against gun buybacks many times because they waste tax dollars in a possibly well-intentioned but entirely ineffective scam. They do nothing to reduce crime. The violent people who do violent things are not the ones turning guns in, unless they need to dispose of evidence, of course. The whole no questions asked part is kind of convenient for evidence disposal. In my home state of Arizona, police are required to sell any guns that come into their possession and are no longer needed for evidence. But in Chicago, they are supposed to destroy them because everyone knows that inanimate objects are imbued with their owner's evil nature. Pure evil. You see, once a firearm is tainted with the evilness of a bad person, it can never be washed clean. It can only be purified in the cleansing fires of the forge. But being Chicago cops, we can make a safe bet that the one thing they won't do is comply with the law, which is exactly how Twanda Willingham wound up getting shot with a G21 that had been turned in at a Buyback event. The gun was stolen from a room full of cops and was used to shoot 3 people before it was found on a 16-year-old boy. In case you were wondering, 16-year-olds are not allowed to buy handguns or carry them in Chicago.
You're gonna love Chicago.
But hey, the sergeant responsible for the property was suspended for 1 day, so I guess justice was served, right? Now, because you are normal, decent human beings, when I say 1 gun a month, you probably think of an incredibly based subscription service like the Wine of the Month Club, except you get a new Roscoe every month. Nay, nay, good viewer. In this context, it refers to Californistan's audacious attempt to limit Calistani subjects to purchasing no more than 1 firearm in any rolling 30-day period. Thankfully, the Ninth Circuit ruled that law is unconstitutional. And surprisingly, Attorney General Rob Bonta did not request an en banc hearing. So the Ninth Circuit has issued a mandate, marking the very first time in history this court has issued a final judgment striking down a law as unconstitutional on Second Amendment grounds. Hey, remember how government agencies are super trustworthy and never used to launder American tax dollars for controversial special interest groups? Me neither.
If it never happened, how can Cisco remember it?
Which is why I'm so excited at the prospect of a new government clearinghouse for gun control propaganda. 2 Moonbat representatives from Californistan just introduced the Gun Safety Board and Research Act, which would set up a new government agency with a $25 million a year budget to hand out your tax dollars to anyone conducting research on gun violence. And I do mean anyone.
A scientist.
I'm not a scientist.
There are literally no guardrails in the bill to ensure academic rigor. There's no requirements for grantees to publish in peer-reviewed journals or discuss methodology, share data, or meet any standards at all. The only requirement is the board publishes its own findings annually. And that's before you even get to the propaganda part.
The what?
The other part of the agency's mission is to educate the public. Once again, there are no guardrails whatsoever for the funding. It would be perfectly legal to give millions in taxpayer-funded grants to organizations like Moms Looking for Action and Everytown for their efforts to educate the public about gun violence. Of course, the red team still holds a majority in the House, so this isn't likely to get anywhere. Rest assured, if it grows legs, I'll give you the heads up, but I don't think it justifies a fire mission just yet. That said, every day is a good day to bully a politician, so if you're feeling froggy, call 202-224-3121 and give them a piece of your mind. Now, before I give you that moment of zen I know you skipped ahead for, it's okay, I still love you. I have to do that thing gun tubers do and remind you the Tube of Views actively hates you and your rights. They continue to unsubscribe viewers from our Wrong Think, and many viewers have told me they never get any notifications at all. So if you have already subscribed and if you already clicked that bell to receive all notifications, please leave a comment and let me know whether you're actually getting any notifications on this channel or other gun content. While you're at it, let us know which gun tubers you think deserve a lot more attention than they get. Then, drill out the like button's third hole and non-comply the subscribe button. If you think we earned it, of course. And now, for your moment of zen. Hello friends, do you like pews and pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you pure American pew propaganda at the low price of free? We literally couldn't pay our bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.